FS Hub. So let's look at BNB. So every time you see trade buy sell, and some of your gurus who call trade for cash, you celebrate. You ask how did some of those reactions happen. So here we have a common floor acting as a demand floor, and BNB have leveraged on that floor since Monday, 15th February 2021, as its demand floor where the money lies. So that's your this is a horizontal trend line. The trend line can be ascending trend line, descending trend line, and horizontal trend line. This is a horizontal trend line, HTL. Now, we had an upswing and a bearish candle drop and created a support on its own. That is resistance to downswing and upswing. I mean, you don't know who is responsible for this, but at that moment, it becomes a support floor. It becomes a support floor. So technically, that's your SR on technical, because the strategy is based on the market price action. It's based on what the market provide, the data the market provide. And in September 2023, you have seen that surge in price. You go back to your line chart, you see we have another ascending trend line here. ATL, followed by a breakout. Ascending trend line followed by a breakout and price. I'm going to change the color to red. An upswing that messed with its trend. That is an ATL. So I take my ATL from here. This is an ATL, ascending trend line, where here becomes an SR. Remember, the strategy is based on allow the market to create a structure. Of course, if you don't allow the market to create structure, you are going to make mistake. So let the market create a structure. We want the market to create a support structure for us to get a trend line. These two structure, if we unlock them, gives us an ascending trend line. And we have a breakout from an ascending trend line, double SR, SR1, SR2 breakout structure. Here is your BO. There you have a breakout to an uptrend, the SR level. Now on technical, every other thing that happens here becomes your supply roof. On the ascending trend line. So technically, that area becomes your sell zone. This is where you should expect supply for BNB. Every supply for BNB will be on this roof. And if you remove it, structure will never lie. It can never be wrong. I tell you, structure can never lie. It can never be wrong. Let's go back to our weekly chart again. And it's another structure which also holds a very strong sentiment and a clear attestation of a BNB uptrend and buy sentiment in the market. It reinforces it that buyers are holding the key. After a key breakout of this level, its price action has demonstrated the intent of buyers to hold price above key critical level. And let us also throw strong, and that's a descending trend line. So we take our descending trend line 2 and place it there, DTL. And here becomes your new SR. So I'm going to share 2 potential zones where you expect a buy. Anything on this floor is a buy. Okay? My crypto fans, I'm not a fan of crypto, but I'm telling you anything on this zone is a buy. Anything that comes here on this zone is a buy. Yes, so I want to explain it. Now we have price create here and RS structure. So we'll come here, take our RS resistance, become support on breaker structure. Remember, the market has to create structure, and we are glad and excited. We already have a structure. So for you to know that impetus that gave birth to that descending trend line was from 3 touches of an RS level. RS level 1, RS level 2, RS level 3 gives you a descending trend line. We have an RS level here, break of demand floor, price came back here, retest it as a supply roof. The both have given us reason to draw a descending trend line. And we have the structure broken because price tapped liquidity from the ascending trend line. And when it came back, it broke that demand floor, turned it to an RS and as well a retest candle after break of structure. So it's not just only RS, that's also an RT. It's a retest candle after the break of an SR-RS level. Yes, so it's also an RT. And because of clarity, I wouldn't want to put that BO, but I know there's also a breakout candle here. This is the candle that broke the structure, the candle that broke this demand floor level. And I came back and retested it as a supply, and we have seen the BNB drop further. So in the future, now we come down to celebrate here with a double structure, but price failed at this level. Price failed at this level because of we have a clean structure here, which they couldn't break. There is a clean structure at this level. They couldn't break that structure. A previous broken demand floor became a supply roof. You can see that structure over there. We have here as a supply roof, break of structure, supply roof. Price came back as a demand floor, break of a demand floor, makes here your ROS, and you have seen price tank under the influence of that bearish impulse. So that is this for educational purpose. And why are we doing this? We are doing this to validate the strategy, and it has gone on to be applicable into everything in the financial market. Everything, ladies and gentlemen, is applicable to everything. Market move in one dynamics: demand, supply, retest, demand, supply, retest, demand, supply, retest. So you have seen that structure there. After we had here as a supply roof, we had here as a supply roof, break of structure, demand, break of demand, make here ROS, and price has dropped from there. And let's see if that price action continues, because I don't like to abuse price action. I don't like to abuse key levels. When you eat from one level, 1, 2, 3, you forget about that and focus on other things. Because abusing a key level will cost you trade, will cause you to lose trade. So I believe that this price action ends here. You shouldn't extend into display. Here is a new price action. There are instances where a particular trend line can be so psychological that they can run for 10 years, 15 years, representing SR and RS on different interchange, but it's not all the time. So in this case, we want to assume that this relationship ends here. I don't want to extend it. I've gauged it and it didn't extend. So let's not stretch our luck. So it ends there. So now we had a breakout from that structure after price claiming here as an SR level. We had a breakout, Every other candle that comes here will face a similar retest, and we've seen what price did here. When price returned here, it's a sell-off. You see, these are elite trading strategy that you get for free. And when price return here, it's also a sell. And if it comes back here again, it's also going to be a sell. So this is your technical ascending trend line resistance structure acting as dynamic supply roof. So if price comes here, you will see it as a sell. So a next push of BNB will be a push into 890, representing over $200 addition, over $300 rise based on the structure of the market. It's based on the structure of the market. And when you look at it critically again, you will see that this leverage you have here on this demand floor was not just only that, a descending trend line breakout from this roof will also bear us witness that it's now coming on. So that's also another point. So you have seen that. So let me leave it imaginary, but we are covered with the strongest price action here lies here. So this is why I've chosen this one. But if you're looking for more confidence, this also presents a buy opportunity, as we have here as ROS1, ROS2, break of ROS retest. So we have two descending trend line. So I'm going to leave this imaginary for clarity purpose. I don't want to put a shade again on it. That's technically okay the way it is. And also want to represent the roof as an RS level. So it represents what it is: resistance to upswing, resistance to upswing. They're both creating a descending trend line, and this is the breakout candle that shattered that arrangement. And shortly after that, we were awaiting a retest, and market came for retest and did exactly what we expect based on principles of break and retest. And when price returned here, it formed not just only an ROS. So I'm going to heap a whole lot of problem on that structure. Also, where is my retest icon? That's also a retest candle. Yes, that's what it is. After the break of the structure, what structure was broken? Look at the date the structure was broken. So everything we are doing have evidence. I trade with evidence. So come to the comment section and let me know if you have a divergent view on what I'm teaching. If you have a divergent view, please let me know. Because we have price create a structure here in March 2021, a supply roof structure, break of structure, came here supply roof 2, another supply roof after a series of demand flow at this level, and we have, in fact, that's actually a retest of a broken demand floor because this price played here as demand. So after the break of that supply roof, price returned here as a demand floor, and we had multiples of weekly rejection at that level, confirming it, multiples. Now, a break of that structure ultimately called for retest, break of a demand floor, returns it as a supply roof. So we have our RT and our RS. Now, price came back here, broke the structure because it picked liquidity from the demand floor. A constant demand floor that have always held price from February 2021, another price action, another price action, and who lastly it left 1, 2, 3. So the liquidity lies here. So this is your ultimate demand floor, right? So it picked it and broke the structure. Haven't tested it once. It respected it once. That gave us a bearish drop onto the floor. And on that note, we are also going to look, and I think I find another price action noteworthy. There's a price action at this level, which I think should be another level of demand in a subsequent drop in price. Very beautiful. After break of that, this area need to be filled, and there is still a lot of unfulfilled retest at this level. After break of structure, this area should be fulfilled. I'm expecting a retest into that structure, and it will definitely happen at 338.57. That is if we have a breakout from here. So price will likely come here to make here a new demand floor. And you have seen how price, after leveraging on that supply roof, You have seen how price broke out from that structure. So here becomes your supply roof after price creates the demand floor here, SR1, SR2 on a weekly time frame. So you've seen price return here, and after break of structure, price came back here as an ROS. That resistance becomes support and break of structure, meaning that if it breaks out from there, then that becomes my demand floor. So this is my ROS level. This is another ROS level. And we have another ROS level, 3 ROS level on that structure. In fact, it's more than that, followed by a retest candle. And not just only that, that's also an RT. It's also an RT. And we have one more retest, making that area a horizontal trend line. Very strong price action indeed. And we have a break of that structure. There is no retest. So if price falls, then I will expect a situation that we will fall directly into this zone. Haven't tested here. When price come here, it will seek liquidity into 338.57. So I'm going to put your buy order. 338.57. The day it will happen, you might not be aware. You might not be aware. So that is why I set that buy order, knowing fully well that it will trigger. Now, if it triggers, reacts here, that means price have broken away from an ascending trend line. If you look here in your line chart, you will see there's a clean structure at this area that is also broken. This is also very daring to me. In fact, this is the most interesting price action for me. Very, very interesting for me. And I will tell you why. And I'm going to make it a bold black structure so that I do hope that I'll have time to be seeing it sometimes in the future. So now let's look here. We have here as a support structure. We have price return here as a support structure before breaking structure and return it to a supply roof. ROS1, ROS2, and break of ROS return here as a demand floor. And that is why you see buyers have held this floor. They didn't just hold it because they want to hold. They are holding it based on structure. They are holding it, and when they are tired, you will know. So now, um, the structure of the market never tells lie, family. Trading is very simple. And I keep saying this, we have very complex approach in the market, and they make it look like others are docile in what they're doing. Look at what price has done here. We have here as a demand floor, series of demand floor, right? Price came here, peak liquidity, but within 10, you see that liquidity was a warning of a break of structure, and it broke that structure. But we couldn't have drawn this without a candle close. I needed a 1 week candle close. In fact, I needed a 1 week candle close on interchange ROS and SR. I need the both interchange. It is that interchange that will give me the impetus to draw my ATL, and I got it. After price rejecting it, the next week candle came here and dropped. So 1, 2, 3 weekly candle close gave me an ascending trend line. There is a close at this level, a weekly candle close. There is a weekly candle close at this level, another weekly candle close at this level, and with the one I have here giving me an ascending. And when price return here, it respect. This is a free trade. This is a free trade. This is a free trade. Every other sell here is a free trade until break of structure. Why was structure broken? Because price return on a liquidity floor. These are areas where traders call order block, bullish order block. I don't call it order block. I call it demand floor, where there is buying. You know, there are a whole lot of names this thing have been used, liquidity and the rest of all that. Well, it's up to what you understand and what you want to stick to. But let's make this thing as simple to a common person. Let's make it simple. The most important thing is, are you winning? Yes, to me, that is what is important for me in trading. So you see what price have done there. So if they manage to, now you see there is no trade. It's either BNB goes up and activate about 900, or the price comes down. Let her come down to this area again at 535. Yeah, but if it breaks out from there, then the price come down to this level where you think you will find a considerable amount of liquidity for optic. So that's what we have for BNB educational chart on a weekly time frame. Do feel come to the comment section and let us know your perspective. If you have a divergent view, that will be okay. Criticism is welcome. And if there's anything you want to add, we